Straight ahead on 12 News, fire alert. What has West Metro firefighters so concerned after 2 fires in 2 weeks? Plus, a push to buy a gun. What's behind a rise in permit applications in Hennepin County? But first,
we're not against the light rail. We're against its effect on this neighborhood.
Neighbors have their say. Now it's the Golden Valley City Council's turn to decide what to do next. 12 News starts right now. After years of discussion, a light rail line through the Northwest Corridor gets the green light to move forward.
That's after the Golden Valley City Council gave its approval to the proposed route running from downtown Minneapolis to Brooklyn Park. But as Alexandra Renslow reports, this latest vote far from ends the discussion.
We've seen foxes out here. We have large snapping turtles that come up to lay eggs.
William Stecker feels like the peaceful view of Bassett Creek from his Golden Valley home may soon be a limited engagement.
In the words of Joni Mitchell, pave paradise, put up a parking lot. So that's what we see back here. We're going to miss this if this project goes through.
A proposed Botno light rail line through Golden Valley inched closer this week.
There being 3 ayes, 2 nays, the resolution is adopted.
After City Council member Joni Clausen switched her no vote from last summer in favor of more study.
This is not a final. It's not like in 2 weeks this line's going to be running.
The council's approval now triggers $30 million in studies about the environmental impact of the light rail line, a line which would run along an existing freight track through the city.
This is for a study. This is to have questions answered so that we can make an informed decision at the end.
The council will get another vote once studies are complete, but opponents concerned about train noise and wildlife disruption argue it's pretty tough to turn back once the train has left the station.
Once $30 million has been spent, it's a very difficult vote to turn.
Once this wetlands area is destroyed, it's not coming back.
Back at William Stecker's, he's disappointed but not defeated, believing there's an alternative route for the light rail and a discussion to be continued.
We're going to be actively seeking to reverse the decision.
A Botno light rail line through the Northwest Metro is still a good 5 to 8 years away, according to Golden Valley Mayor Shep Harris. Mike and Jennifer, there's still studies to be done, more votes to be taken, and hundreds of millions of dollars in state and federal funds that need to be secured.
All right, thank you, Alex. New apartments will be coming to Golden Valley in a big way. 3 significant apartment proposals came before the City Council Tuesday night. Golden Valley gave final design approval to the Tiburon project in the northeast corner of Highway 169 and Highway 55. The 6-story apartment project geared toward single working adults is considered a great addition to that area. Another 6-story apartment project geared toward working adults would go up next to the Colonnade office tower. The Arcata apartments received preliminary approval. And finally, the Golden Valley City Council also gave preliminary approval to a 6-story senior housing project called the 394. That project drew the most concern, particularly from residents in the Circle Down neighborhood. They wondered about the size of the building fitting in and whether the large-scale construction would cause structural damage to their homes.
I implore you not to permit this development to proceed. Again, I fully respect the need for this property to be developed, not at this scale and not at a way that destroys Circle Down.
I, for one, do not think that any of us on Circle Down should have to put our houses up for collateral to put this building in.
This project is basically making my house unsaleable.
The Golden Valley City Council ultimately felt that the project would be a good development given the restraints of the site. The shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut has reignited the debate on gun control.
But while people on both sides of the gun control issue argue their case, cities are busy processing a wave of new applications for permits to purchase firearms. Delane Cleveland joins us now with more. Delane?
Mike and Jen, the Sandy Hook Elementary shooting not only caused sorrow and outrage, but police say it also seemed to have increased the interest of people looking to buy guns.
Our staff has typically seen an increase in firearm applications after high-profile incidents, such as happened last week.
People interested in buying a firearm can go to their local police department to pick up an application for a permit to purchase. New Hope police say that in a typical month, they would receive about a dozen applications, but they've seen a dozen applications in just the past week. Police officials in Brooklyn Center also report a similar spike. When New Hope police were asked to comment on the reason for the increase, they could only speculate.
I don't know if it's fear that people have and they're looking for more drastic means to protect themselves, or if there's a fear of more restrictions. I don't know what their motivation would be.
Hennepin County also reports an increase in conceal and carry permits since the Connecticut shootings. County officials say that 61 people applied on Tuesday and 43 on Monday. That's above the county's daily average of 20 to 30. But Mike and Jen, certainly not every city I called reported a spike in applications for permit to purchase. So Golden Valley and Osseo, for instance, only reported one application so far this week. So.
All right. Thank you, Delane. Well, if you have an arrest warrant out, you may get a knock on the door in the next couple of days. More than 75 sheriff's deputies and local police officers left the Brooklyn Park Sheriff's Office early this morning. They expect to arrest dozens of people wanted on warrants. They hope the effort will convince some to turn themselves in. They're wanted for a variety of offenses, from felonies to misdemeanors.
We're not out serving parking warrants today. We're not serving the very low-level misdemeanor type warrants. These are the ones that are egregious, that either have bench warrants for their arrest because they didn't show up in court or because they committed crimes against individuals in this county.
In one case, a tip led to the arrest of 37-year-old Julian Lopez. He is accused of sexually assaulting a teenager. Lopez was arrested after the sheriff's office launched new ways for people to provide crime tips by text, online, and using a smartphone app. Well, with the colder weather comes a new risk around many homes.
In just a period of 2 weeks, the West Metro Fire Department has fought 2 fires involving space heaters. And now they're warning folks to take extra care.
The homeowner that owned this really wanted us to show people this.
It's a space heater that dates back to the 1960s, and according to Deputy Fire Marshal Aaron Surratt, among the most dangerous.
Any combustibles that get near this heater are going to ignite.
The heater was running when a fire burned a bedroom in this Crystal home last week. Inside, you can see the heater on the floor and the damage that was caused.
So as we trace this cord...
But Surratt says it wasn't the heater that actually started the fire. It was an extension cord that wasn't big enough for the power the heater was drawing.
An older unit like this is going to draw quite a bit of energy. So we have a thicker cord running, and we can start to see where the cord failed.
Heat built up and the fire started where the 2 cords meet.
So we have this failure.
The failed plug on the left used to look like the extension cord on the right. 2 young children in the room suffered smoke inhalation. A 1-year-old is still hospitalized. But it could have been much worse if the father hadn't jumped to action.
When the father opened that bedroom door, superheated black smoke overcame him, and he just literally ran through everything, grabbed the kids, ran out.
Another space heater started another bedroom on fire in New Hope when a young girl tipped it over.
It was a box type like this, sitting on a toy box, and the little girl wanted another toy. It fell backwards, arced out, started a fire. And I just have a simple piece of paper.
And you can see how quickly clothing or bedding could catch fire.
Definitely already starting to burn.
Surratt says the heating elements can start a fire in a matter of seconds, and it seems to happen more often when we get busier and the weather turns colder.
We're so busy, especially this time of year. We see the fires spike this time of year because we're all complacent. We're all working extra. It's the holiday season. We're buying gifts. We're distracted.
Surratt says never plug a space heater into an extension cord, and if you have to use a heater, use a radiant heater that does not have an exposed heating element. Coming up, how a local toy store is keeping up with the holiday hustle.
Then later in sports, it's a wild one as small school power Maranatha goes overtime with Cooper in boys basketball.
But first, it's a check of your AccuWeather forecast. It's less than a week until Christmas, and you can certainly tell it at one local toy store.
Creative Kid Stuff in Maple Grove was busy this morning with last-minute shoppers. Reporter Shannon Slatton shares more about how the store manages the last-minute holiday hustle.
You don't find the same kind of things in other places that you do here.
Lorraine Mathewitz likes to buy her grandkids gifts that are unique.
It's a fun, cool place for kids, and we have 2 grandboys that are 7 and 10. So we are here fairly often.
She's one of several shoppers picking up last-minute toys.
On all levels in our company, everybody's kind of on full tilt.
This rush is nothing new for local toy store Creative Kid Stuff. They are celebrating 30 years this year.
It's just gotten more competitive. So we have to work harder and harder to stay ahead of the market because you can now see and find everything anywhere.
Besides 6 local stores, Creative Kid Stuff now has merchandise in 4 airports. But the biggest change over 30 years is online sales.
As online has grown, we're shipping the coasts, and actually the percentage of what we ship is actually greater outside of the Twin Cities.
The Creative Kid Stuff difference, they say, is that these are toys that teach.
We always say that we really don't want the children to know that they're learning, but they're learning. And that's our whole goal, is that play is learning and learning is play.
You can see that in some of the hot items of the year, like these toddler toys.
So again, we're talking about gripping, eye-hand coordination.
And this game called Suspend, that's been a #1 seller this year.
The goal is to make it suspend. And if it topples over, you lose.
The company plans to keep growing online and keep finding the right balance of toys that customers want.
There are so many developmental skills that children need, and so we actually select our products thinking about that.
In Maple Grove, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
Here's a present for all of you last-minute shoppers out there. This is actually the best time during the holiday shopping season to buy toys because the prices drop the week before Christmas. So that kind of seems contrary. You'd think it'd be better prices earlier.
Maybe so, but it's going to be fun, especially you have little kids around
I
the house.
know, there's toys to buy now.
There you go.
Coming up, a Maple Grove neighbor's answer to a Holiday Lights masterpiece.
But first, in sports, a huge matchup in boys basketball as second-ranked Park Center hosts #1 Osseo. John Jacobson is in next. Very exciting atmosphere at Park Center High School in a packed house.
When you see Osseo and Park Center meeting up, you know there's going to be a lot of people there.
There were, especially for this one. Yeah, they sold out about 45 minutes before the game, and a fun atmosphere, definitely. It's set up as a tremendous boys basketball matchup, top-ranked and defending state Class 4A champion Osseo against #2 Park Center, which has its best team in many years and had already knocked off previous #1 Apple Valley. A huge crowd as the big rivals meet at Park Center. The Pirates quickly grab the lead. Quentin Hooker with the dribble, and he rises up to nail a 3 from the wing. It's 10-3 Park Center. Hooker is superb in this one. He dribbles in for a closer look and buries the mid-range jumper. His Pirates lead throughout. It's 25-15 at this point. Osseo battles back. Harrison Lucas to Wheeler Baker for the baseline turnaround. Baker leads Osseo with 21, but the Orioles are down by 10 at halftime. Baker's the only Oriole to really have a good shooting night. This 3 cuts Park Center's lead to 38-30 in the second half. They try to overcome a sluggish start. Hooker goes right back to work. And watch this one spin around the rim a few times before dropping, plus a foul. He leads all scorers with 34. Osseo's veteran players have up and down nights. Bridge Hustler misses, but Ian Tyson puts the rebound in, plus a foul. Tyson scores 17. But this is Park Center's night. They get a steal that leads to a hoop plus a foul for Devin Buckley. He nets 19, and the Pirates win at 73-62. Their zone defense kept Osseo in check.
Yeah, that definitely helped. We took away some of the possessions that they gave to Ian, and I got out to the shooter, so it was definitely a good strategy for us.
It was just a really good game. I think we were clicking on all cylinders and came up with the W.
Park Center Osseo wasn't the only intriguing boys basketball matchup Tuesday night. A good Class 4A team, Cooper, paid a visit to Brooklyn Park to take on the #1 team in 1A, Maranatha. And what a game. Rashad Vaughn with a dunk to get the Hawks their first points of the game. Big game for MCA's Isaiah Hansen. He goes baseline and banks in 2. The Mustangs lead by 4. Later, it's Hansen holding off the defender and driving in for 2 more of its team-high 41 points. Maranatha leads by 1 at halftime. Second half, and Vaughn takes the pass and hits the 3 from the top of the key for Cooper's first lead of the game. Trajan Carson whips the pass ahead to Vaughn here, who finishes with a dunk. He scores 51 points for the Hawks. But the Mustangs keep pace. Josh Goldschmidt The assist to Garrison Gillard. He scores 16 in the game. Final seconds of the game, MCA down 1. Gillard stripped of the ball. A pass ahead to LeVar McCullough, who lays it in to put Cooper up 3, but watch the finish here. Mustangs come down, and Hanson hits a 3 to beat the buzzer that ties the game, sending it to overtime. And free throws proved to be the difference in OT. Goldschmidt hits a big one here. Maranatha scores a huge win over a 4A school, 95-93 Mustangs. It was also number 1 versus number 2 in Class AA girls hockey. Second-ranked Benilde St. Margaret's looked to topple top-rated Minnetonka. The Red Knights traveling to Minnetonka for this tough test. Early second period, the puck is loose in front of the skipper's net. Liv Halverson finally jams it in to give Benilde a 1-0 lead. Later in the second, nice work on the wall by Alicia Pross. She sets up Kelly Panic for the shot on goal. 2-0 Red Knights. And Abby Miller stops all 26 Minnetonka shots to post her 3rd shutout of the season as Benilde gets a win over a team that's owned them the past few years.
We've been waiting for, since last section finals to play this game, and it's always an exciting one, so it's even more anticipated. And I mean, this one, it's so fun to win it, but we just got to use this momentum against them, and hopefully if we meet them again later in the season, we can play like we just did and finish the game.
Great night of high school sports on Tuesday.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Thanks, John. Well, still ahead, a science project in Brooklyn Park that gets an assist from the pros at Boston Scientific.
We're back in a moment. But here's a Maple Grove neighborhood with a sense of humor. A Maple Grove home on 65th Avenue is decorated to the T. Hundreds, if not thousands, of lights illuminate the home. So what does the neighbor do? Well, you just spell out ditto in holiday lights. The lesson here, if you can't compete, do something fun and neat. Well, if you were asked to build an airplane, would you have any idea where to start?
Well, now students at Brooklyn Junior High do, at least in Lego form. These students are in a science class and spent time with professionals from Boston Scientific today. They learned all about the steps that go into designing and assembling a product, and in this case, it was a Lego airplane.
Gives the students a real, authentic, real-world situation. I mean, we can do experiments and stuff in the classroom and stuff, but this is actually more hands-on, and they can see the application in the real world.
The partnership with Boston Sci is part of the school's new STEM program, or Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. It's the second year Brooklyn Junior has introduced STEM programming into the curriculum.
A little fun day in science. Right?
Yeah, you know, somebody new in the classroom, some professionals around.
If they're building airplanes, have them put more leg room in it. That's what I
Yeah. That's all the news for now. Thanks for joining us.
Community Corner is coming up next. We'll see you tomorrow.